our kind. We cannot tolerate their obstruction.
In 1985, the band Starship released the single We Built This City. 31 years later, GQ magazine declared it to be the most detested song in human history. That was, of course, before Baby Shark was released. Starship had quite a high turnover in members. They formed in 1984, kind of from the ashes of a band called Jefferson Starship. Starship had 4 studio albums and significantly managed to retain the main singer from Jefferson Starship, Grace Slick, for the first 2 of those albums. And it was she who sang We Built This City. She was also the main singer for the previous band, Jefferson Starship. So winding backwards, Jefferson Starship were formed in 1974 and existed for 11 years, releasing 7 studio albums in that time. Confusingly, they reformed in 1992, and so there are currently 2 bands, one called Starship and one called Jefferson Starship. Well, so actually the former are now called Starship featuring Mickey Thomas. Since their reconvention, Jefferson Starship have released 3 more studio albums, and once again there's been quite a bit of movement of members. If this was not confusing enough, we can wind back even further, because Jefferson Starship were born out of the ashes of a band called Jefferson Airplane. And that band was formed in 1965 in San Francisco and were a pivotal band in the hippie psychedelic movement. And it's fair to say they were hugely influential. Their breakthrough single was White Rabbit. This band name, so Jefferson Airplane, also had a number of members. And as if to deliberately muddy the waters, they had reunions in 1989 and 1996. So by my reckoning, that means in 1996, all 3 incarnations were active: Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship, and Starship featuring Mickey Thomas. So Jefferson Airplane had 8 studio albums in their main stint, and another one in 1989, which they helpfully called Jefferson Airplane in case anyone was confused. One person who was through most of these incarnations is the iconic Grace Slick, with a voice that's very recognisable. And another one was one of the driving forces, a guy called Paul Kantner, who was their guitarist. Hi, my name's Dan. So this was Jefferson Airplane's 4th album. And I used to have a blog before I did these video reviews, and I have reviewed this album on that blog before. I've listened to it again. I've read through the review that I did on the blog, and pretty much I agree with it, which is good because it means that I'm consistent. It doesn't always happen, but that's good. So most of this review is a repeat of that review from the blog with just a little bit of tweaking. So this is psychedelic rock with mostly slow songs. There's a bit of a hint of space dust and an overall feel of heavy, but ethereal feeling. So some of the harmonic stuff foreshadows heavy metal, which kind of emerged about 2 years later. And there are some leanings towards progressive at times. Again, that's just about to emerge. One track is a soundscape of sounds, so it's reminiscent of the experimental stuff of Pink Floyd around the time. Musically, I really liked it. I found it appealing. Especially enjoy the kind of jam feel that there are at times. I really do like a bit of jam, not just on my toast. But occasionally it feels a bit ponderous. However, I'd say that there are 3 elements here, and the music is probably the least important of the 3 elements. So the second element is Grace Slick's vocals. So on this album, she's distinctive and expressive. She has a very distinctive vibrato that she has, and it's less used on this album, and I think that's good. I don't think I'd want to lose it altogether, but I think sometimes in some of their albums it can be a bit overdone. The third element's the words. So I assume that at the time that this was pretty much subversive and countercultural stuff. This was the hippie movement. There's an intensity, sometimes a darkness in the songs. Although the words are mostly easy to hear, they're not always easy to understand. I think the following bit of lyrics sum up the album pretty much. It's in loyalty to their kind, they cannot tolerate our minds. In loyalty to our kind, we cannot tolerate their obstruction. Definitely kind of expressing a countercultural thing there. My favourite song is a song called Triad, which is proposing arguments for a three-way relationship. The song Lava is also followable and good, but it's a bit disturbing. The whole album gives a kind of hippie bubble that challenges society. Of course, it challenges on particular lines, which were popular at the time, and I don't necessarily agree with the thoughts. In fact, mostly I don't, but I would say that asking these questions and challenging the norms is a healthy thing for art to be doing, so I applaud it for that. Overall, I'd say it's well conceived, it's balanced in tone and content, it's stylish in a very kind of 1960s kind of way, and it drew me in. I enjoyed it a lot. That's what I think of this album. What do you think? Let me know, please, in the comments below. That's it from me for now.
What can we do now that we both love you? I love you too. I don't really see why can't we go on as three?